Well, hey everybody, happy Monday. Wanted to do a video which I've talked about before. This topic I've talked about, the why for you going into this career. It's usually one of three or four things. Some people will research the the average salary of a paralegal, and they'll see 50 to 58,000 a year, which is not the truth when you take into consideration that you have to start at a different level. Doesn't necessarily mean a different position. I started as a legal secretary, legal receptionist, but a lot of people start as paralegals and have the title, but they don't know a lot, and they don't get the high salary because they don't know a lot. So it takes some time. It takes 2 to 3 years to where you can say, well, if you're working, doing trial work with the attorney, handling cases that are going to trial, then that makes you more valuable. Or if you're in an area of law that a lot of people don't go into, makes you more valuable. You won't make as much, for instance, as an estate, ESTATE, planning paralegal, one who does wills and simple wills, living will, healthcare directive, etc. But you will command more money if you know how to do complicated trusts. I have a lady that I worked with in a firm in northern Florida that became an absolute expert in doing complicated trusts. And you can look up what that is, okay? Where it's, for instance, somebody won a lottery in our law firm of 20 million plus. And then that becomes problematic in knowing how to protect that money. And so the trust was formed for this couple, and both were lawyers, so they put their money in a trust. There are tax issues when you win that much money, and how to protect yourself from a lot of that money being siphoned off along the way. So attorneys who are well versed with trusts, and my boss was, then they employed him, paid him to do that for them, okay? Paralegals who specialize in certain areas, like catastrophic personal injury, that's a smart thing to do. Or if you have more than one area that you specialize in, that's a great thing because you're not limiting yourself. So you may be in a firm where they do estate planning, but they also do the type of law where they end up going to trial. It could be personal injury. It could be going to hearings like immigration hearings. Those are all very specialized fields. That's a smart thing to do, but you have to start somewhere. So what is your why for going into this? Is it that I want to help people? I hear that a lot, but I want you to always understand what a paralegal does. We can be kind and warm and nice, which we should be to the clients, but we can't give them advice. Even if we've been down that path, I've heard people say, I want to go into family law because I have been through it myself and I know what happens. Well, the thing is, you can't give advice. You can never give advice. If you want to do that, then you need to become an attorney, okay? Because you won't have a license to give advice. So be very aware that there's a lot of people that tell me that they want to help people, but you cannot help them in the way you're thinking unless it's just to show them extremely high-level customer service, which we call client relations, where you are warm to them, etc. Okay? So the money can't be number one. Helping people has to be in the way I mentioned, not giving advice. If you're drawn to a 2 or 3 different areas of law, research the heck out of them on Google. If you're not, then I'm going to question your passion. Because if you don't know what area you want to specialize in, and you haven't even Googled that about different areas of law that paralegals work in, then I am going to question your passion. Because that's the natural progression, is to go look on Google and to keep going those steps further to find out what paralegals do in those areas of law. The other thing is, there's another person who is very passionate about law in general. Now, I can't say I was passionate about law. I didn't know a lot about this field when I jumped in. I just knew that I had 2 aunts who were in the field, and they were in it for a long time. So I knew they found not only a decent wage eventually, but that they had satisfaction and that they became experts in their field. You know, somebody recently on LinkedIn made a comment in a group that I'm in that they wondered if being a judicial assistant, the judge's assistant in a courthouse, would be a great move for a paralegal. Once you're a paralegal for a while, would that be a nice move for you to make? And someone came on and gave this girl advice, which I think is, you know, an error. That no, that wouldn't be a great move. I beg to differ. I think it'd be a great move. You know, you've got a lot of experience. Say you've got 3 to 5 years experience, and that job comes up, and in the courthouse, not only do you get a lot of holidays off, but it's a very interesting place to be. You see a lot, and it depends on what court that you're working in. It could be juvenile. It could be a whole host of different courts that are within the system. And my local courthouse has juvenile and municipal and all kinds. So there's probate court. I've worked as a guardian ad litem with in the court, and we just loved a judge that we had, and I'm sure he had a judicial assistant that helped him every day. I happen to think that's a great move. One of my aunts was working for a lawyer who then was appointed a judge in New Jersey, and she went with him to the courthouse when he took that position. He wanted her to go with him. And so she became a judicial assistant. It was a great move for her. She stayed in that job for a long time. And she ended up with a pension because she worked for the city. So not a bad move for her. Okay? I'm not saying the pension is huge, but I doubt it is. But it's still, she came away with something out of that besides a regular salary for all those years. So what is your why? Be careful who you listen to, because you'll have people telling you that you have to do things a certain way, that you can only get into the paralegal field a certain way, just one way, through a 2-year degree program. Not true. Or you can only go in by getting a certificate. Not true. There are at least 3 ways to get in. The first 2 I mentioned, and they're not number 1 and 2. I'm not putting them in order. Or number 3, you can have a high school diploma. That may be the only diploma you have. And when I entered the legal field, that's the only diploma I had. I had taken some college courses, but I didn't have a college degree. And so at that point, and I got those later, but that has nothing to do with the legal field. It doesn't pertain to the legal field at all. My degrees are in biblical studies. So it didn't pertain at all. It could be that a 4th way is that you have a degree in something else. What people think is that attorneys only look at degrees. Not so. What they want is somebody that can come in and help them and knows quite a bit before they enter in. And I've had people say, well, I went through I went through the degree program, but because I don't have experience, I didn't get hired. And so they feel like they're dead in the water. You're not. Your why is very important. And your why is so important because if it's really strong, that you really like the work after you've investigated what this career is about, what does a paralegal actually do? Is a paralegal like an attorney? No. When we're working, the attorney's in an office doing other things. They might be writing the legal brief, and we'll be helping them format it. But there are paralegals who do write legal briefs, but we are not attorneys. Okay, remember that. What is your why for going into this? Do you like this type of work? Well, you might say, hey, Leslie, how do I know? I've never done this type of work. I don't know what it's about. Well, let me tell you that Google should be your BFF. You should watch a lot of the videos here or on my YouTube channel, Paralegal Career Mastermind. You should go to my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look at the areas, and I have a free PDF there, complimentary PDF. You should look at that PDF, which is called 19 Alternative Paralegal Careers List. It's on the website. Just look at the top and look for 19 Alternative, okay? And get that for yourself. Paralegals are not limited to government agencies, courthouses, law firms. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying you're not limited. So understand where you could work, and maybe that will light your fire more so than working for a law firm or a government agency. Okay. Knowing that why is everything. But being that why should be based in reality. Why you want to go in should be based on truth and not falsehoods. Okay? Some people think I can't go in because I can't afford to go to school. Well, you heard what I said about the way you can get in, right? That it doesn't take the 2-year degree. It does not take the certificate. I just had a high school diploma. Now, I had other work experience, but it did not. I worked in the marketing department of a corporation in New Jersey. I also worked for my church for 3 years in Claremore, Oklahoma. Would that pertain to the legal field? Nope. I had great administrative skills. Would that pertain to the legal field? Absolutely. We are administrative professionals. We are never going to be attorneys. That takes a bachelor's degree plus 3 years of law school. If that's where you're headed, go for it. But you will not be helping people in the way you think when you are a paralegal. You cannot give advice. Sometimes, oh, we want to, but we can't. Okay, we have to stop short of that. Otherwise, we'll be in deep trouble. Okay, we can be in trouble with the bar, with our attorney. The attorney can get in trouble for not, watching that. And you have to already know that going in. Okay, so I think that one of the most important things is if you have a passion for this, then the question is, what's your next step for you? Like, what's holding you back? Because if you're that passionate about going into this career for the right reasons, then there are people who need to have you be their employee. There's an attorney out there who needs you to be his or her paralegal, because you're going to bring something special to it, a real passion, a drive to learn, that you will be open to learning from the attorney or on your own. And that's my question for you. Are you pursuing not classroom learning as much as are you really going through Google and searching out different areas of law that light your fire? In my book, Legal Break-In, I talk about going inside certain areas of law, and I take you inside those areas. I talk to you about what those basic skills are that you need. The most intense or the most difficulty you will face is here in your own head. You will talk yourself out of going into it even while you're going towards it. You will talk yourself out of it because you will feel inferior. You will feel that you don't have the abilities. The question is, are you willing to work hard? You'll talk yourself out of it because you feel that at 38, 45, 57, you're too old. It's what you bring to the table. It always is. It always is. Attorneys die for somebody who cares about the work that they do and are not just a seat warmer. And we have plenty of seat warmers in this field that, have caused issues. A seat warmer, when she was out on vacation, I was called to try to find a document in, I guess about 18 inches high, like this, of filing on the floor that she never got to. So you don't want to be a seat warmer. You want to be somebody who's going after it. And people love to hire those who have that passion. So are you ready for that? We need you. We need to hear your voice. We need you to be an active participant in the paralegal career. Okay? So know your why and write it down. Why do you want to go in this field? Can't be to give people advice because you went through something and you know what it's about. Even if you are a bona fide expert, then you have to be an attorney. Or, Leslie, I'm just in a financial bind and I want to make $60,000 because I need to pay off debt. You're not going to make that. Nobody makes that in the beginning, because you have a lot to learn yet, and that's going to take a while before you make that kind of money. If you ever make that kind of money. That's not to burst the bubble, that's reality. You have to be based in reality. And then, do you still want to go into this field? Be aware of your why and make it based on truth. Okay? All right, so that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would love to hear from you, and I will talk to you in tomorrow's video. If you commented, then I will see it later because Facebook doesn't let those comments come up. Oh, let me see if somebody's here. Okay, no. If you made comments, I will look in a bit, and then I will answer them. Or make them, if you're watching on replay, make comments below. Would love to hear. All right, so any questions, comments, just post them because I will more than likely do a video on it, okay, or point you in the right direction. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in tomorrow's video. Bye.